Hi, everybody. A very good evening and welcome to our monthly webinar. How are you? So, thanks so much for taking time out to join us on this Thursday evening. Very happy to see so many of you here. So, please do say hi in the chat because we really want to know who's here tonight. Okay, let me see. I see that we have Gordon. We have, let's see, Ahmad. Okay, quite a number of you have said hi. Hi, Sing Chow. Okay, more and more people are saying hi. Hi, Sajid. Hi, Nagesh. Hi, Finn. Hi, Niza, Gladys, Kahao, Evelyn, Amy, June. Wow. Okay, thanks, guys, for shouting out all your highs. Yeah, I see some familiar faces here as well. So very happy to see some of you back here. So how's everybody feeling today? How has the week been for you? We usually have our webinars on Thursday. So I guess it's the almost weekend, right? So how has the week been for you? Let us know in the chat right now. How are you feeling? Good, so, not so great. So actually for three of us today, which is Rose, which you'll be meeting soon, and then Christina as well. So I know you guys know Christina and we actually have been in a management retreat. So this is our day one. We have another day tomorrow. So I was just telling Christina, I say, it's like, oh, we need to like try and arrange like for our management retreat not to be on the same day as our webinar because we have had such a long day. But then at the same time, like then we are here now doing the webinar. But of course, we are happy to be with you. And usually, like you guys are so engaged and you're always like giving us so much positive energy, right? So, okay, with like all your engagement, we are looking forward to do tonight's webinar. Okay, so I'm quite surprised to see that it's already the 18th of November. Can you believe it? And I was like, oh my goodness, it's like almost Christmas. So have you put up your Christmas tree at home? Yeah, let us know in the chat. Like who have put up your Christmas tree? Okay, more people are saying hi, Jasmine, hi, Julie. Yes, yep. Hi Vina. Anybody have put up your Christmas tree at home? I was just saying it's like we should put our Christmas tree earlier, right? So that it's like can how to say it's worthwhile putting it up, and then if not you have to take it down again and you're like I should have put it up earlier. So but anyway, I think that this year has really passed by so quickly. And do anybody have any plans that for your Christmas holiday? Like I think a lot of our colleagues have started planning taking leave. What about you? Like have you not much to celebrate? No, I think it's all in the mindset. So one of our participants say not much to celebrate, but I think it's really in the mindset. So I encourage you, even though like this year has been quite challenging maybe for some of us. In fact, we have just done a survey recently, and I understand that because of COVID, quite a number of our singers have said that their mental health has been affected as well because of COVID. But I think it's really all in the mindset. But anyway, I'm just very happy to see all of you here tonight to spend your time, your precious time on a Thursday evening with us. So I promise you, definitely it'll be worth your time. So I think before we get started, my first question for you tonight, okay, I'm going to put out a poll right now. My first question for you tonight is, how many physical dates have you been on this year? Yes, so like we mentioned, it's almost the end of the year, right? So we want to hear from you. How many physical dates have you been on this year? So let us know in the poll right now. You can just, like click on one of the answers. Okay, let me see. Almost half of the room have already answered. So you have not, please answer. We want to hear from you as well. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we already have more than 60% of the room who have answered. So I'm just going to end the poll. Wow. Okay, so let's see. If you have said 0, 43% of like the room is actually same as you. So actually quite a number of people have not been on physical dates this year. Okay, and then 36% of you say that you have been on 1 to 2 dates, followed by 12% who say 3 to 5 dates, and only 3% who say more than 8 dates. Okay, so I think this is something that we can understand because with all the change of rules constantly this year, like sometimes you can go out, sometimes you can't go out, sometimes you can go out in 2s, sometimes you can go out in 5s and things like that. So I know it's really difficult, but I hope you guys are still making an effort to get to know someone new. So even though if you cannot meet physically, you can always do virtual dates as well. And in fact, I'm really quite happy and in a way a little bit surprised as well that we actually have had quite a number of couples that have come from virtual dates. So it's like every couple of days, we will hear like success stories where maybe they have put their membership on hold, or like maybe in fact they are even like getting engaged. And quite a number of these couples actually met during COVID and actually through virtual dates as well. So I think I just want to encourage you that even though you can't go on physical dates, but definitely going on virtual dates is still a step forward to get to know new people. So we just recently conducted our annual dating survey, as I mentioned to you. And if you'd like to know the full results, so, for example, one of the questions that we did ask as well is that how many dates people have been going on, like how are they feeling this year? What are some of the things that they have done to help themselves feel better during this COVID situation? So if there's something you would like to find out more, like what about 2,500 singles have said in this survey, please subscribe to our newsletter so that you won't miss the results when it comes out. So I also want to thank all of you, those of you who have already read our first newsletter. Thanks for the great feedback that you have given to us. So any of you who have received our first newsletter, do let us know in the chat. And if you have not, like I mentioned, do subscribe to it so that you can get the results of our survey when it comes out. So I understand that some of you are new because, while you're saying hi, I have not seen your name before in our past webinars. So I just want to do a very quick introduction of myself and also, like the company which is hosting this webinar. So as you can see on my box in Zoom, my name is Violet. I'm the CEO and co-founder of this company called Lunch Actually. So previously I was working in a bank and I saw that a lot of my colleagues were single and not dating, and I was inspired by my colleagues to then actually start a dating service because I really want to help them find love. So fast forward 17 years. So currently we are in 5 different locations, of course, Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Indonesia, and Thailand. So do let us know where you're from. We would love to welcome you. I know that a lot of you probably would be from Singapore, Malaysia, but we really want to hear, do we have any of our participants tonight who are from Hong Kong, Indonesia, and Thailand as well? So anyways, as I was saying, so now we are in 5 different locations, and we actually do quite a number of things. So other than having one-to-one service, we also provide coaching service. We also provide date coaching, image coaching, and we also have our app as well. And the other thing that we are very focused on is definitely our matching philosophy, because a lot of times when people come to us, they'll say that I'm single because I've not met the right one. But what we have realized is that meeting the right one is just a part of it, but actually it's also very important to be the right one as well. So being the right one, meeting the right one, and then choosing the right one, like these are the 3 steps that we believe that would help you to find the love of your life. So that's also the inspiration behind why we decided to start this series of webinars, because we realized that as much as we can help our clients to find a good match, but we also want to help them to be the best version of themselves. So that's the reason why we have been running this series of webinars, and we have been talking about a lot of different things. So I think tonight's topic is definitely something that is interesting, to many of you. That's why you're joining us tonight. So with that, I want to really bring up our 2 awesome speakers very, very soon. But I think before I do that, I just want to once again just find out from you, right? Like, are you actually using dating apps? Okay, because I think tonight it's very, very much about dating apps, right? So are you still actively using dating apps? Okay, let us know in the poll right now. Okay, so people are answering like very furiously now. I think now you're getting used to the idea of using the poll. Okay, so if you have not voted, please vote now. The answers are like very close. It's very interesting. So the 3 answers is yes, I am. And then the next one is sometimes I'm not as active. And number 3 is no, I totally have stopped using them. Wow, very interesting. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, end poll. And the result is wow, amazing. I think like this is one of the most equal poll I've ever seen. So at yes, I am is 35%, okay? And then sometimes, but I'm not as active, is at 33%. And no, I have totally stopped using them. Wow, it's like 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Very interesting. Maybe you want to let us know what is the reason. Like, so those of you who have been saying that I've been using them, no, the one that say that no, I totally have stopped using them. Maybe you can let us know in the chat, why have you stopped using them? Okay, so with that, yes, I'm going to bring forward our two love experts for tonight. We have, very interestingly, both their names start with R. So we have Renee and Rose. Yay! Let's give them a very, very warm welcome. Please type hello in the chat right now to Renee and Rose. Don't be shy to say hi to them. I think they should not be a stranger to many of you, especially if you have been joining our webinar on a consistent basis. So before we jump right into the topic, of course, I want to invite both of them to just introduce themselves and to say hi. So maybe we'll start off with Renee.
Hi. Thanks for having me again. I'm really happy to be here. So I'm Renee. Hi, everyone. So I'm a dating and relationship coach from Lunch Actually Coaching. So I'm actually from Malaysia. Okay, so my background is actually in psychology. So I've been helping singles and also couples to stand a higher chance in getting the relationship that they want and sustaining it by giving them the right tools, the techniques, and guidance. Yes, thank you, Violet.
Thank you, Renee. Renee, you want to share with them like one of your recent success stories? I know that you have so many success stories recently. Like, you want to share like maybe one of your sessions that, you know, like you feel that you really have helped the clients or the client have given you like awesome feedback.
Yes. So one of my client, right? He always had he's actually using dating apps. He's also a Lunch Actually client. He's using dating apps, so he has been using it for a long time now. But before I started coaching him, he wasn't getting any matches. Okay, so we actually looked through about like his messagings and things like that, and then we found out actually what is happening. Why is he not
Oh,
getting any
yes,
matches?
yes, this is very interesting.
Yes.
I think maybe a lot of our singles out there, you know, can't wait to hear. Yes, so what's the secret behind it? What was the missing part that wasn't giving him any matches?
Okay, so one of the reason, before he actually could actually talk to those ladies, his pictures were always like looking down,
Oh,
and yes, looking down or looking away or wearing masks, right? So
okay,
ladies could not actually see who are they matching with. Therefore,
okay,
his matches, right, chances are very low. So we actually fixed that. We fixed that, and his biography, right? It was quite negative, like he would say like, if you're not here for a serious relationship, please swipe left, please swipe away. So negative normally attracts negative, so we also fix that. And we also work on his openers, right? How he can actually stood out. We just within 1 or 2 months, right, a few sessions, he actually did quite well. From 0 dates a month, right, he actually went out with 2 or 3 ladies a month. Yes, so right now he has been seeing someone exclusively. Okay, he has been seeing someone exclusively. They are doing quite well, and I called him the other day to actually check up, and he was like, "Thank you so much. It actually really helped me. All the techniques that you actually teach me, I didn't know it would be useful, but actually it did lah." So yeah, so he was able to
wow.
attract. Yes.
Thanks, Renee, for sharing that. Like that's so awesome. I think sometimes when people hear about you, people might think it's like just small things, right? But it's actually
Mm.
all of these small things that sometimes like singers like just are not aware of. And that's why, you know, like working with a coach like Renee, you know, because you like see so many of this, right? And then once you look here, like, oh my goodness, you know, why are you using this picture? It's like, why are you saying that
Yes.
in your bio? Wow, thanks for sharing that, Renee. Okay, Rose, please introduce yourself.
Hello. So my name is Rose. I am the country head of Singapore. I have been with Lunch actually for 10 years. I've been with Violet for 10 years. So a great story, really. I think my favorite story of maybe more recently, maybe what has happened for myself is that I actually worked with a client in Lunch actually. So in Lunch actually, it's not just about dates. You know, yes, we do arrange dates. We do help introduce you to interesting people to actually help widen your social circle. But one of the most important things that we do is also to give advice as well. And I think this year what we really focus on is attachment theory or attachment style. So I was working with this client on understanding her attachment style, and also at the same time help her understand how potentially it might stop her, you know, from seeing good opportunities or good men, and also to help her understand more about her partner's attachment style as well. What areas would potentially clash, what areas she might have to understand or accept more so that they can actually move on together. So this was, I think, a new milestone for me because it actually helped my client understand more about herself and go into dating, more confidently as well.
Wow, thank you, Rose, for sharing that. So those of you who are wondering what attachment theory is and what Rose is talking all about, so stay tuned because we have something very special at the end. Okay, so thank you so much, Rose and Renee, for your introduction. And as always, if you have any questions for our two love experts tonight, you can always drop them in the Q&A box and we will do our best to answer as many questions as possible. So without further ado, let's jump into our first topic. So now that we have seen, most of you who have attended tonight, you have tried out dating apps, like maybe you're still using it. Some of you say maybe sometimes, some of you say no, like I've totally stopped using it. But I think one thing we do all realize like that as much as, like some people use it for fun, some people maybe they are already like even married or attached, but and at the same time, there are also scammers and fake profiles as well, right? So maybe Renee and Rose, you want to share with us what are some of the common bad online dating behaviors for our singles to actually avoid when it comes to using dating apps. So Renee, please go first.
Yes, thank you, Violet. So dating apps have actually helped many people connect with other singles for years. But however, we cannot deny that there are dark sides of dating apps as well. If you are a dating app user, most of you must have encountered like fake profiles or you have been ghosted before. So those are very common. These two are the most common things actually in dating apps because dating apps do not need any verification, right? When you use them. However, we see that nowadays singles also experience harassment in dating apps. So according to a finding, right, from the Pew Research Center published in 2020, they found that 35% of dating apps users say they actually got sexually explicit messages, right, or images that they did not ask for. So nearly 30% say that they have been called an offensive name, and about 10% of them, right, had like someone threatened them to physically harm them. Okay, so we've also heard stories, right, of sexual harassment that singles get on dating apps. Okay, for example, singles will ask for sexual favor before their match even said hello. Okay, or singles get inappropriate pictures in their DMs, in their inboxes, So this does not just happen to ladies, okay? These are also men, right? Men are also victims of harassment, and this can actually traumatize them emotionally.
Oh wow, that's pretty scary. I think like thanks Renee for sharing that. I think we all know a bit of this, but I think when you start sharing some of these statistics, is really quite scary. Like how you have mentioned that 35% like have gotten sexually explicit message, and then like 30% have been called an offensive name and things like that. Wow. So thanks for letting us know more about that. So Rose, like what other type of bad behavior that we tend to find actually nowadays in dating apps?
I mean, another bad behavior that everyone knows. It's not just bad. I think this one is downright morally wrong. Would be scams. I think love scams. So there are people who are using dating apps to prey on emotions, not in exchange, but prey on emotions to scam for money. So the most common scam, of course, that we all know is having the person that you just met on the app chasing you, pursuing you, flirting with you, sending you messages. And these people, I tell you, they flirt very well. I've seen some of these messages. The guy is like, okay, I'm going to a meeting now. So during my meeting, don't talk to any other guys, okay? I don't talk to any other guys, okay? Then they might even send gifts. I had a client share with me that she hasn't met this guy. They were having conversations, but on her birthday, he actually sent her a pair of heels.
Wow.
Send it to her. And in the end, he started to ask for money after gaining this trust. So there are cases where these gifts, or when they ask for money, they'll say that, oh, I have a gift for you, but you have to pay tax, or I'm stuck here. Can you help me pay my air ticket back? Or now cannot come back. But previously it's like air ticket back. And recently, I think one of the newest one that our clients have shared with us is an investment scam. So what they do is, after getting to know you, they ask for a small investment first. So $100, okay? And then give you a return. So they give you $110 back. Okay, so the next step is $500, $550 back. And it became such a big amount because this trust and confidence were built that I had a client lost 70,000 because of this.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, some red flags to look out for to avoid being scammed, right, would be, of course, if they refuse to meet up with you face to face. If you feel that they fall in love with you so quickly, they are rushing into I love you, you're going to be my life partner, things like that in such a short span. And I think the last thing is really asking for money when you haven't met. These are really things that we notice during the stage where our clients are getting kind of preyed on in that sense. But remember that when I know some of us may have experienced this before, and I just want to share that it's never, our fault. It's just that we were put in a situation where we met a bad person, and it's not what we did or what we could have done to avoid it. Okay. Of course, going into not so serious no-nos would be aggressive texting, controlling behavior. So, for example, if you don't reply, they are asking, hey, where are you? Are you busy? Are you seeing someone else? And they control your location, who you hang out with. And I think one of the no behaviors also include comments on your body when they first met. So there was a client who shared with me that she just linked up with a guy on a dating app, and then the guy told her, nice ass. I saw your picture, nice ass. So I mean, in real life, you wouldn't accept that from a stranger, right?
Yeah.
So it's important.
So what did your client do? Did she block the guy?
Yeah, she said, I don't think that's appropriate.
Yes.
For you to comment on my ass when we are just chatting and getting to know each other. So he actually was very defensive and said that, why are you so sensitive? It was just a nice comment, and she really set her boundaries. I'm very proud of her.
Wow.
Yeah. So which is important, setting boundaries. Of course, another one would be sending explicit photos. So easy to send, unfortunately, explicit photos to each other. And of course, the last thing I feel would be definitely poor reaction when they get rejected. So maybe they start criticizing you or just putting you down. These are things that we do see happening on dating apps.
Yeah. So I think, the one that is quite scary is really the investment scam that you were talking about just now, right? I think they are just getting more and more creative. I think previously it's really the one where, they'll say they send you a gift, and then after that, someone who pretend to be the custom to call you and things like that. And then now, you sharing about they actually do send you real gifts, where you actually do get something first, and then slowly, or with the investment where, you give $100, they give you $110 back, and slowly it just grow bigger and bigger. So this is something that is really scary. So I think, one of the things that we always tell our clients as well is sometimes when things sound too good to be true, chances are it probably might be. So something to these are some red flags to look out for. So thank you so much, Renee and Rose, for your explanation. Okay, so we want to launch the next poll as well, because we also want to hear what our participants have to share. So what are the worst online dating behaviors that you have encountered on dating apps? Yes, so let us know. So I know that Renee and Rose have described quite a number of them just now, but what about you? What are some of these poor or bad online behaviors have you encountered on dating apps? Okay, let's hear from everybody. And if you have not voted, please do vote now. And of course, if you have anything else to add, you can also put in the chat as well. Okay, come, vote. Almost half of the room have voted. If you have not voted, please vote so that we can hear from you. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, going to end the poll. So we have 2, which are the highest scores. So do you want to guess what it is? Maybe you want to guess in the chat. Let us know which two do you think has the highest score out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which one do you think have the highest score? Okay, so yeah, Deborah, very good. Deborah immediately won. And then Sujit say 1 and 2. Shinpei scammers. Ray say confirm ghosting is the highest. Okay, so some of you got it right lah. So the highest score is actually scammers and ghosting. Okay, both of that is like 33% and 35% respectively. And then Deborah say, cause I kena a few times, especially people from, okay lah, we don't want to mention countries. Okay, so scammers is 35%, and then ghosting is 33%. People who are married and looking for fun, 8%. Catfishing, their photos don't look anything like them in real life, 16%. On the note of catfishing, anybody have watched the show on Netflix currently called Love Heart? It's all about catfishing. It is quite funny. So if you have not watched it, maybe you want to check it out. And being harassed for photos, being too controlling. So that's 8%. Yeah, so I think Sebastian here say some people just don't have the courtesy of rejecting you. They rather ghost. Yeah, I think this is a topic that we have talked about previously as well. Like, we definitely don't think it's right, but I agree with you in the sense that like more and more people are starting to do this. They either like don't have the courtesy, or they just, I don't know, like they don't want to waste time. But I think that's very terrible. Totally, I don't think we should do that. And just remember, like, you know, like what goes around comes around, right? If you keep doing that to other people, like you might get that being done to you as well. So I think rather than ghost people, you know, just have the courtesy of just following up and say, okay, it was nice talking to you, but I don't think this is going to work out. I think just something simple like that, at least let people know rather than just leave them hanging. So totally agree. That's not great. So Renee, so yes, if our singers have encountered some of these bad experiences on dating apps, right? What is your advice for them?
Thank you, Violet. I think first of all, I'm so sorry that those bad things happened to you. Hopefully, these useful tips will make you feel actually better. Okay, so if you are ghosted by your match, right, don't feel sorry for yourself or even seek closure. It's more of a reflection, to be honest, of who they are rather than a reflection of you. Okay, so just move on and know that you deserve better, and there will be a better match for you. Okay, and I totally agree with Violet. It also applies if you don't like your match, right? Instead of ghosting them, you can say that I don't think we are a match, you know, I don't want to waste your time. So I think it's best we move forward separately, and I wish you the best in your search. Then end it there. Yes. So second, right, if you experience love scams, immediately report to the authorities. Okay. If you experience harassment, right, immediately just disengage with them. You know, same thing. Don't try to reason with them, find an explanation, or even question, right, if this is your fault. Okay. So it is not, if they keep on terrorizing you, right, report to the police. Please remember to not share any personal information to someone you barely know.
Yeah, thank you, Renee, for that. And I think just to add on to your point about harassment, I think, you know, like now there are like more and more awareness of like, you know, people who are like narcissists, people who are like potentially sociopaths. So I think sometimes you might encounter some of these people on dating apps as well. And then they are the people who are like, they will gaslight you. They will like, you know, like just keep saying certain things, like make you feel bad about yourself, make you doubt yourself. So I think like what Renee has mentioned, you know, please do not like start to reason, you know, and start to think like, is it my fault? Because like this is what they do as well. They really make you doubt yourself. So something to look out for. And Rose, what about you? What are some of the tips that you have for our audience tonight?
Yeah, I mean, just a couple more tips to stay safe. The first one would really be don't share passwords. This includes, of course, your various accounts, you know, your bank or credit card information. The next thing would be to really think about it. You know, any photos and information messages, you know, that we send out there, we can't think back once it's on the internet, right? So when you want to send out photos, think about this few more times before actually sending these photos out. The third one would be like what Violet mentioned, never, if it's too good to be true, it's important to just give yourself some time to think about it, or even talk to your friends about it and hear what they have to say. So don't rush into things, especially when it's too good to be true lah. The fourth thing would be really to aim for face-to-face meetings, especially in the public space. Our experience is that a lot, scammers, married people, they wouldn't want to be seen in a public space with you. And in fact, a lot of scams happen even before they actually meet face-to-face with potential clients as well. So always keep dates as much as possible face-to-face, instead of just chatting for such a long time.
Thank you so much, Rose. So those are definitely great tips from both Rose and Renee. So of course, like so far in our conversation, I know we have been talking mostly about the, like negative side about dating apps, but definitely, like there are people, and then we have clients, our coaching clients, that we have worked with, like what Renee had mentioned just now as well, that have successfully found love through dating apps as well. So Rose and Renee, do you have any tips on how our singles can actually use dating apps in a safe and healthy manner?
Yes, Violet. So Rose and I, right, actually have 4 tips on how to use dating app in a safe and healthy manner. So the first one is, remember that your self-worth is not defined by how others perceive you. So on dating apps, right, it can hurt when someone that you're interested in suddenly ghosts you or rejected you. And this can magnify it on dating apps, right? Because you get to swipe and match with hundreds of profiles overnight. So I
Yeah,
want to
that's
advise.
such a interesting point, Renee. Last
Mm.
time, okay, I'm much older than you. Like last time when we date, right? It's like you cannot be rejected that many times, because you only meet that many people, right? But you're
Yes.
right. Now with dating apps, you are meeting so many people, so your chances of getting rejection also increase as well. I think that's an excellent point.
That is correct. That's why it is very common. So I want to advise, right, all singles to keep things in perspective. Okay, there are many reasons why someone may not be interested in us, why they may ghost us, why or may not respond to us. Okay, like vice versa, right? You also can't like everyone that message you or matched with you. You can't like hundreds of them overnight. So if this happens to you, do not try to find explanations or seek closure. And importantly, right, do not think there is something wrong with you. Maybe if you are thinking about this too much, right, it's good to take a break from dating apps and surround yourself with people you love, like your real friends, your family, and ground yourselves, right, in reality that you are a good and eligible person. Okay? So second, right, be compassionate and treat others how you want to be treated as well. So we can't control, right, what people do that we meet on dating apps as well, but we always can control our own actions. So my advice is to be kind and treat others how you want to be treated as well. For example, if you yourself are not sure that you want to find a date or a relationship, then avoid going on dating apps. And if you're not interested, like I shared before, don't ghost the other person, but just tell them nicely, that you're not interested, that you don't think you're a good fit, and then move on. Hi, Rose.
Wow, Renee, those are great tips. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Okay, so I think from my side, right, my third tip that I'd like to contribute to all of you is that love happens offline. Dating apps are great. I also introduce, my friends to dating apps, at lunch actually, and dating websites to actually meet people. We just need to be aware of the potential dangers or potential things that we might face, and then know how to address these things for it to work. So dating platforms are a great way to get to know someone new, to meet someone who's outside of your social circle. But connections, chemistry, all of these are defined offline. So you meet face to face. That's when you decide, is there physical attraction? Is there a body language that makes them, body language that the person presents to feel more sincere as well. So do not get caught up in chatting. You know, when you actually swipe someone that you like, don't chat 3 months, 2 months. I know a lot of ladies take the time to actually chat because they are concerned. Am I talking to someone who's serious? Am I talking to someone who's real? But the fact is, you really don't know until you meet up with them face to face, right? This will also eliminate people who have weird intentions as well, as long as you keep it in a public space. Maybe at a cafe, restaurant for a meal. You are entirely safe. Of course, inform a friend when you go on a date as well, just to make things even safer for you as well. So again, like married people, scammers, and if they are fake or they pretend to be, a very handsome guy or very beautiful girl, when they actually notice that you are open for face to face, they would not want to meet you in real life. It's not genuine. They're afraid of being found out as well. So it actually eliminates people if you move to the face to face portion. Okay. I would say the next thing would be, don't be too focused or laser focused on one thing. With everything in life, moderation is key, right? Sometimes when we are too focused on trying to find a match on dating apps, you are every day, every lunchtime, every 1 hour, you go and check, did I get like mutual swipes? Did I get messages from people? Then it gets too absorbed on one thing. We get too caught up. So what I'll say is, try to also continue to fill your life with activities and hobbies that make you happy. Start spending time to have exercise, or even, trying a new hobby. Because when you are enjoying something, when you're happy in life, this attracts people as well. Okay, like Renee said, negative attract negative. If you are positive, you attract positive also. And passion is attractive. So when you actually start filling up your dating app profiles again, you have all of these new interests and all of these exciting things to describe, what kind of person you are.
Thank you, Rose. Totally agree with that. And I think just to add on to your third point, right, which is love happens offline. And I think because when people are just chatting and swiping, they can be chatting with a lot of people. People can be chatting with 10, 20, even 100 people at one time, right? But when you're meeting in person, they can only meet one person at a time. And I think that would also give you an indication about how serious they are about you, because it's if they choose to meet you and then they meet you again, that means they actually need to be physically there. They cannot be physically there with so many people, right? So that is also a great way to kind of see how serious this person is. And I think what Rose have said, eliminate married people who are in relationships and things like that as well, right? Because clearly they cannot be spending so much time with you if they also have other relationships. So something to look at. So thank you so much, guys, for sharing all these great tips. And then it seems that our audience also love all these tips that we are sharing. So someone actually say, very amazed at the sheer amount of good knowledge being shared in this session. Wow, thank you for that. Yeah, definitely. That's why I'm very excited to have both Rose and Renee with me tonight, right? Both our two love experts. So with that, we want to really look very quickly at some of the questions that have come in. Wow, today everybody very engrossed with listening to both of your sharing, and they don't even have time to put in questions. So if you didn't have time just now, don't worry, you can put in the questions now. But we have one question that came in, and then maybe Rose and Renee, you both want to take a step at answering this. Which dating app has the highest percentage of meeting my life partner beside lunch? Actually, wow, this one trick question. So Rose, you want to try first?
Hey, how come you put besides lunch actually? Okay, but lunch actually is not a dating app. Okay, I mean, in terms of dating app, highest percentage of meeting a lifetime partner, different apps have different features, and also at the same time, I think they really brand themselves based on different things as well. I do feel that apps like Bumble, they are very about female empowerment. They are about females choosing first. Coffee Meets Bagel is quite a good serious dating app as well. Then of course Tinder, they are the huge database. It's about screening through and making sure that people are sincere about getting to know them, like I said, face to face lah. I would say that it's good to actually try different apps. I can't give you a highest percentage, to be honest with you, because I think different people might find different apps effective as well. So I think you can definitely download apps like Coffee Meets Bagel, Bumble. There is probably a newer ones called Hinge as well. Hinge is interesting. I think they actually have a very funny sense of humor when it comes to putting up your profiles. So you get to meet people with the same sense of humor who find certain things funny as well. These are things that you can try. I would suggest you to download a few, see what fits your style, because I do feel that different kinds of profiles are attracted to different kinds of apps too.
Thank you, Rose. Renee, what about you? So I'm sure you work with your coaching clients on like different apps, and like do you see a higher percentage, of success with certain apps or not really?
I think this is a very good question, to be honest. Actually, dating apps, right, is because everyone is different, and every dating apps actually have their own algorithm, right? So you should try out a few dating apps and see which one works best for you. Yeah, that is the best way. And there is no highest chance, but me personally, I would suggest, right, Bumble, right? Actually, I have a lot of clients that are attached from Bumble or like Tinder, So you really need to try it out for yourself as well, which one works best. But the common ones are Bumble, Coffee Meets Bagel, Tinder, and the new one, yes, Rose, Hinge, which is actually, I really like the design as well. Their new dating app. So try out a few and see which one works best for you. I think that's the best advice I could give.
Thank you, Renee. Okay, so another question here. So maybe Rose, you want to take this one since you talk about attachment styles. So we have Sebastian here who asks, what resources do you suggest to learn more about attachment styles? I currently listen to a therapist podcast by Dr. Morgan.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So in terms of attachment styles, there's a book written on attachment styles. I do look at attachmentstyleproject.com as well. That's another one. And I do also watch YouTube videos. So you can actually go on YouTube and see what are the, I think, sharings or just I think elaborations on this topic as well. One thing to remember, attachment style is not I wouldn't say not permanent, but it's not definitely something that can be changed. Understanding your attachment style actually helps you avoid certain behavior or really create more self-awareness of the things that you might potentially do, common reactions to certain things in relationships as well. So I would really encourage everyone to actually look at attachment style. I do think that with certain partners, your attachment style changes as well, which is very interesting. So it's not always that you look for a certain type of attachment style for a partner, but it's about how you are more aware and how you can be more compromising, or even, I would say, maybe doing small changes on yourself to actually move towards a more compatible relationship.
Thank you, Rose, for that. And we have another question here for Renee. So beside dating apps, what other ideas to meet partners? So this question is for people that don't actually use dating apps.
Yeah, so you can also join lunch actually. Yes, that is actually a very good platform. Okay, we are a very good platform for that. Another one is actually joining activities, right? So if you are a lady, join activities that are more man-based, so you can meet more people. But the cons is that you have to filter them out yourself. It doesn't mean that if you don't use dating apps, you won't get scammed or you won't meet anyone bad. So you have to filter them out yourselves as well. Join activities, go for maybe dating events. So those are good places to actually meet eligible singles as well.
Yeah, thanks, Renee. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think sometimes it's really just so simple, right? Like, for example, like if you're a lady, then don't go and join a dancing class because like 90% are ladies. And then you just end up dancing with another lady. But if you're a guy, right, then definitely join a dancing class. So just things to think about. Sometimes we need to be a bit more creative. Okay, so Rose, since you're the country head of Singapore, so we have a question here. Is lunch actually safe from fake profile and scammer?
Johnny, right? Who
Yes,
actually asked this
Johnny.
question. Thanks,
Yes.
Johnny, for giving me an opportunity to share about this. I I mean, when it comes to lunch, actually, what we do, right? We actually have multiple forms of screening. It's not just over the phone where we ask certain questions about the profile as well. We move on to a consultation where we also, look at things like body language. How is the person sharing about certain aspects of life, like their career or the way to past relationships, what they are looking for as well. And it does help that we are a paid platform, which does mean that, if our clients are, I would say, joining us and begin an investment with us, they actually have a sense of seriousness when it comes to dating. So think about this way: when you join our platform, I would say that people are actually paying to meet up with you as well. Right. So on top of that, we also do verification such as marital status checks. We do verification on the job title, income stage, just to make sure that they're coming from the company that they claim they're working at, and even education certs as well. So these are all the various checks, due diligence that we do, for all of our clients at lunch actually.
Thank you, Rose. Okay, so Renee, we have an interesting question for you. So this is from Jasmine. So Jasmine asks, can I ask what if the other party parent is very into feng shui kind of thing, but did not reveal to the partner about the family being traditional? Okay, so the context of the question is because my friend attached to the ex-boyfriend after 2.5 years, but did not know about the partner. Okay lah. So I think from what I understand from the question is something like, what if you suddenly realize that your family, your partner's family is like very traditional lah. Yeah. So how to deal with that?
Okay, so you really need to ask yourself how important is that to you, right? How would it affect you first? And actually sit down and talk to your partner about this. Why was he not truthful? Because since you guys have already been together for 2.5 years, it's not too long, nor is it short. Yes. And if everything has been good and he has not been truthful about this, right? So ask him about this, and how is it important? How would it affect you that the family is actually traditional and feng shui? Then you believe in feng shui, how would that affect you? Yes. So in relationship, right, you have to compromise. So there is no 100% compatibility. So ask yourself, how much can you compromise in this situation? Yeah.
Yeah, Renee, thanks for that. Totally makes sense, because at the end of the day, we have to choose our battles, right? Like you say, we just need to decide how important is this to us, right? Because maybe yes, like it's there, but it's not a big deal. So maybe it's something that you can work on compromising. Totally agree. So Rose, a question for you from Julie. What should I prepare for offline dating after the online dating? Yes, since you say love happens offline.
Okay. So in terms of preparing for offline date, after online dating, so are you saying like on an app, both of you have been chatting and you're going to progress into a face-to-face date? I'm going to use that as a context. Yeah. Okay. So context is I got asked out on a date via the dating app. So my date is this Saturday for lunch. It's a face-to-face date, which is great. Okay. I can see if it's a real person. So some things to prepare. We did talk about this in one of our webinars. I think the one thing would be to, if you're working that day, Saturday, hopefully you don't work lah. But if you are working that day, think about how can you switch from a working mode to a date mode. Okay, especially when your dates are weekday evenings. So maybe, for example, you could go back early from work, change and get into a date dress. Because at work, when we are wearing more corporate wear, it could put us in a different mode. We could go into a networking mode and just getting to know, what's your job like, what's your day-to-day like, versus, finding out about the person's passions, the person's interest, the person's personality as well. So that's one thing that I would suggest. Probably other things to prepare for your date could be things like presentation. when we talk about image and personal branding, I like to talk about how your personality is and how can we present our personality on the outside as well. So maybe I am a very bubbly person. and I am very happy, I'm very bubbly. In terms of dressing, might think about colors, I might think about maybe floral print if I'm very feminine as well. These are things that I would try to tie up with my personality in terms of my image as well. Last thing, we could look at mindset. I think mindset is something that is important as well. Remember, I always tell people who ask me about dates or whether they should do certain things, I always ask them, what do you have to lose? Right? If we put too much seriousness on it, or if we pin too much hope on it, it gets too serious. So really just have fun. Take this chance of getting to know someone else. There's really nothing to lose. It's just a meal. Okay, go there with that mindset and then see how things go.
Thank you, Rose. Totally agree. I think some people, they like go there like with like a whole long list of questions to ask the other people, like very scary. Okay, it's like people are like going on a date, they are not going on an interrogation. So something to think about. Okay, so Renee, we have a question here from you. From Joey. Joey has an interesting sense of humor. So Joey say, how to be a great catfisher? How to avoid being catfish. Yes. So what are your thoughts?
Yes, so I believe, right, the chances of getting catfish is very hard to avoid. Okay, if you meet like maybe 20, 30 people, you might meet one. Okay, but to actually decrease that chance, right, of happening, you can actually, before you actually meet that person, ask for like some social media like Instagram, or Facebook. Look at more pictures from more angles. Okay, and not only selfies, right? Pictures that they actually stand with someone, or they took in a group. Okay, so from there you could actually see how they really look like, and you could see if this person is really who they say they are. So that is one way of actually decreasing. Okay, another one, right? If they are pretending to be a female or male, but they are actually they're pretending to be a male, but they're actually female, the best way is actually to call them, have a voice chat to actually see, or video call. Yes, before you actually meet them.
Thank you, Renee. Okay, let's see. So for Rose, what are some great questions to spark conversation during a face-to-face date when the last conversation has died down? So it's like talk, then always like that awkward silence, date air. Okay, so what to ask or what to talk about to re-spark the conversation?
Okay, re-sparking. Okay, I think first thing first. I feel the mindset should be when we go on a date, especially as a female or as girls, we do hope for guys to initiate more conversation and to keep, asking us questions to keep the conversation going, right? So that's how we see whether they can lead in general. But I like to remind everyone that, when we go on dates, remember that the other party is as nervous as you. Okay, the other party is probably also thinking like, oh my god, what am I going to say? If I say this, is she offended? Why she's not smiling? Am I not funny? I thought that was funny. The person is going to be as nervous as you. So I think when we go on a date, the first thing is to think about how can I make the other person feel comfortable, instead of thinking, oh, why is he not talking? Why can't he initiate more conversation? Why can't she talk more, just to make this smoother, right? So if we think about how can we make the other person feel comfortable, we put ourselves in the other party's shoes, then of course things will be more natural. So sometimes I would say making people feel comfortable, it could be as simple as saying, hey, why you look so serious? Don't worry, I won't. I'm not so fierce, it's okay. Or just laughing about how awkward it is also a common ground. So if it gets awkward, then you just say, I'm so nervous, this is my first time. And then it could be just something that you guys share about and joke about moving forward. I feel on a more serious note, maybe how to continue conversations, it could be just to make comments on certain things. I would say elaborate on topics that came up. So in terms of questions asked, try not to focus on yes or no questions. So I like to elaborate by asking how questions, why questions, and maybe even how, what, why, how, what, why. Yes, I think these are three important ways to ask questions to continue conversations. So for example, when maybe we talk about job, right? And they say, oh, what are you working as? The person say, this, then that's it. So you can elaborate by asking, oh, why do you choose to work in that role? Or how do you find it? So these are questions for the other party to actually be able to elaborate and provide more interesting information for you to build the conversation on.
Thank you, Rose. Love that. Okay, so Renee, a question for you. I think, since you help so many of your coaching clients with dating apps, right? Like, would you know, like by looking at a profile on a dating app, right? How do you actually tell whether it's real or fake? Are there like some usual red flags? Like, once you look at it, like you kind of know. So for example, right? Like, I don't know why sometimes people even bother. I always get this kind of like requests on like IG, on like Facebook. Then I just look at the request. I'm like, this one is sure scammer. I don't even bother. Yeah. So like maybe what are some of these red flags that you can see in the dating profile? Maybe you can share with our anonymous attendee who asked this question. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, right, if the profile looks too good to be true, she looks like a supermodel or he looks like a supermodel, they are normally fake. So yes, they're normally fake, but I have clients that encountered people who are very good looking and turns out to be real. But they normally, right, you could see that they also put in their social media, because people like that, they always get asked if they are fake profiles. So they will put in their social media to back them up that they are real. Okay. Yes. So too good to be true profiles, and profiles that actually when they text you, right, they write you like love messages, like really long love messages. Those profiles are normally fake. Okay. Yes. All right, there are profiles, right, when you swipe a lot, right, you can see that this picture is it has been used like a few profile, like maybe it's the same picture, but then one is called Aaron, the other one is called, Carl. Yeah, so those are also fake profiles. Yes. So just be vigilant. There are, of course, there are a lot of scammers and fake profiles aside, but there are also people who are looking for something serious like yourself there.
Thank you, Renee. Wow, Rose, a lot of chance for you tonight. Another anonymous attendee asked this question, so I give you a chance to answer. At lunch, actually, how do you match your clients in general? Since everybody have different expectations, how do you manage your clients' expectations?
Wow, more promotion screen time. Okay, that's a great question. At lunch, actually, we really believe that every client is unique. That's why different people have different expectations. Of course, on first, I think on first off the top of my head, right? When we go into consultations, for ladies, for guys, sometimes the things that we want could be similar, or for example, the girls, maybe they want I don't know, tall, kind, smart, family oriented, financially stable. But actually there are a lot of factors to what makes a good match. Different people, after we dive down with them, what are must-haves, what are deal breakers, what their personalities like, what their lifestyles like, what's important to them, what they are like in past relationships, and what they have learned from past relationships. We are actually able to focus more on things like must-haves, things like deal breakers, what are some of the nice to haves in a partner as well. So we do work with them on these areas. So we actually work on their preferences to also match with other parties as well. We do look at this on an overall basis. Of course, there are general parameters that we use, like height, age, religion, education and such. But most importantly, we are really looking into personality, lifestyle, compatibility in terms of values as well. So I would say that it's important for the matchmaker to really focus on what the client wants, ask questions on why the clients want this as well, to understand the client better, rather than focus on generic stereotypical reasons on why a match is made. So really diving into who the client is, where the client comes from, why do you have this mindset, how do you grow up, what are your aspirations? I think this is what helps us make a good match during our consultations.
Thank you, Rose. So time flies, like suddenly it's almost 10 p.m. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. But of course, for those of you who have been staying with us all the way to the end, we always have something special for you. So tonight, webinar gift, we want to share an ebook which is very relevant to tonight's topic. So rather than just talking about bad online behaviors on dating apps, we are sharing with you a special webinar gift, which is how to win on dating apps. Okay, so if you would like to get a copy of this ebook, please click on the link that we are sharing right now on the chat, and you can get a copy of this free ebook. And for our singers who are in Singapore and you're not a LA member yet, we have like a super special offering for you as well. And I think, you know, like you guys have heard a lot from Rose tonight, and then she has been sharing about attachment theory, of how she has helped, you know, like her clients with this. So the first 10 singers who are not a LA member yet in Singapore, who submit their interest, will actually get a free one-to-one session with Rose, where she'll review either your love language or your attachment style for free. Okay, and of course, if you do sign up in the month of November as well, you also get 50% more dates. Okay, so this is very special. So this is something you're interested in, please go to the link that is being put up in the chat right now. And if you have enjoyed tonight's webinar, please do share it with your friends, because we always say good things must share, and Christmas is coming as well, so maybe this can be your gift to your friend. And before we end, I really just want to really quickly hear from you guys on your biggest takeaway, because we always, you know, like I always tell singers that at the end of the day, thank you so much for taking time out to attend this. But at the same time, we don't want you to just come here like for entertainment purposes. Like I know sometimes we try to be entertaining, but we really want to know that you have learned something and then you are going to apply this. So please share with us in the chat right now. What is your biggest takeaway from tonight? What was your aha moment? What is the one action plan that you're going to take after tonight's webinar? Please let us know right now in the chat. Okay, so some of you have already put it in. If you haven't, please put it in right now. So Eileen say relationship happens offline. Yes, definitely, for sure. Okay, what about the rest of you? Hey, don't be shy leh. Okay, let's see. Okay, HG say be careful with catfisher online. Yes, I know, right? All these very funny words that we learn because of dating apps like catfishing and things like that. Okay, what else? Keep you know, like typing in the chat right now. Let us know. So yes, so while waiting for your feedback, we just want to also let you know that we are going to have our webinar in December as well. So we are still firming up the details on our December webinar. So do check back at lunchhd.com/webinar to see the details of our next session. Okay, let's see. We have Johnny who say too good to be true. Yes, definitely. It's something that we have talked about quite a number of times. Julie say to avoid scammers to find true love. Okay, so I think we have shared quite a few ideas on how to avoid scammers. Amy says self-worth definition. Yes, definitely. We also talk about, you know, like don't keep beating yourself up on it. It's really it doesn't reflect on your self-worth. And she will definitely ask for video call before getting off the dating app platform. That's great. And then June say to meet awesome people, we have to be awesome ourselves first. Yes. I think we mentioned just now, I think Rose was saying that, yeah, no, let's do more things, you know, to have more things to write about in the dating app profile. Okay, Billy say I'm late for today's session. After when I joined, everything have ended. Okay, don't worry. You know, like we do have a recording of this lah. So I think if you're interested, you can find out more on how you can get a copy of it. Jasmine say how to start a conversation proper. Joey say meet as soon as possible so you can flush out catfishers. Yes, definitely. Then Niza say I used to only use offline dating, but maybe a combination of both is a good experiment for sure. I think, you know, like both Rose and Renee have shared some great tips on what are the healthy ways of actually using online dating. So you can definitely try that out. Kang Tiong say, believe in myself to try. Yes, definitely. I think self-belief, self-worth is definitely one of the first steps. Sebastian say to think about my date's perspective, because because they might be nervous too. Yes, definitely. Wow, I love it. Like today's class as if we are teaching, but like everybody is super attentive and like they have picked up really, really great tips. I love it. Joey said, don't become like Love Heart movie. Also, Joey also have watched Love Heart, which is actually about catfishing. Lo say there is nothing wrong with you. Take your time to find the right one and continue working on being the right one. Yes, exactly. Like you just need to find one, right? That's what we always remind our clients. Wow. Okay. Sujit said, wow, well done, Rose. Sujit actually say, set a date with lunch actually. I'm impressed by the presentation today. Wow, good job, Rose. You're very happy, right?
Yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
So, so thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Like I mentioned, actually three of us, Rose, Christina, and I, we are actually in the middle of our management retreat. So I don't want to keep them on for too long. I want to let them go and rest because we're going to start again tomorrow for a very long day. But we are looking forward to it because we'll be planning some great stuff for you guys in 2022. So if you have not already click on the link to claim your free gift. Please do it now. Christina is going to put the link out again. So thank you so much, Rose. Thank you so much, Renee, for taking time out on your Thursday evening to join us tonight. And of course, thanks to Christina for making this happen. I always say, like Christina and her team, they are fantastic because they do all the hard work, like we just show up lah, really. So thank you so much for doing everything for us. And then of course, most importantly, we also want to thank all our participants tonight because without you, there'll be no webinar. And thank you always for being such an amazing audience, for always being so engaged, always being so participative and like asking all the questions. And I'm so happy to hear all of your great takeaways from tonight. So thank you guys. Have a great evening. Stay safe, stay positive, and we look forward to see you at the next webinar. Okay, good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.